We're going to move to twill weaves for the next section. And usually by the end of September, if we were in class together, someone would be wearing jeans. I don't know. I'm not wearing jeans today. I'm still wearing a cotton gauzy skirt today. But if you have denim jeans on, you're looking at a weave called a twill weave. And a twill weave allows one or more yarns to pass over the other and under the other. And the point to me, it creates this pronounced diagonal. So the way that the yarns are spaced over each other creates the illusion, or it actually creates a visual diagonal. So here you can see where they were clearly spaced over and then they were alternating and they create this diagonal. So in one of your activities, you're going to actually try to do a graph of one of these. You're going to do a graph of one of these and then you're going to cut up some paper and try these different basic weaves. So this is called a twill, and a twill can be balanced, meaning the same number going over and under, or it could be unbalanced and creating a different effect. And we'll take a couple look at those. So first look at swatch 57. So this is a heavy and strong twill, good for upholstery, bedding. Depends what part of the bedding you can use it. It could be upholstered headboard, bedding, accessories. It's heavy weight, about 10 ounces, just to kind of feel how heavy that is. And it's a solid color twill that's typically made of cotton. So you see the angle. It's moving from the lower left to the upper right. So you can see the direction of the twill. You can see the angle. What else is very durable? Well, denim. Denim is very durable. That's why the original Levi's jeans are made of denim. And denim, yes, it means cotton, but also denim is the type of weave. Okay, it's that type of weave. And let's just read about the history of denim. So it was originally developed in France. Traditionally, the fabric is made with a white warp and indigo dyed weft, but it's made in a twill weave. So we've seen two different colors, white and another color before, but here we're seeing it woven on a twill weave, which is that pronounced angle. So even though it was traditionally made of a natural fiber, now sometimes cotton is mixed with spandex. So I have two ladies here. So spandex, right, gives it a little bit of that give. And I won't tell you what life was like for me, a little chubby girl in junior high, trying to put on Gloria Vanderbilt jeans before they started adding spandex. And it was just, we had to lay on our bed and use a coat hanger to try to zip up our pants. And this is a true fact for those young people. So now your cotton jeans have a little bit, denim have a little bit of give into it, and that's because of the spandex. So in terms of weave, go ahead and try to observe the twill. The angle of the twill is going into the opposite direction as the example in 57. What you're going to start noticing is that certain patterns, such as a ticking or a herringbone pattern or a houndstooth pattern, they're named after a weave. So let that settle. So maybe you put a herringbone pattern in a wood layout or a tile layout, or maybe you have a houndstooth print on a shirt or a blouse or something. These terms come from the weave. So that's a little bit of the history. So number 58 is called a tick or a ticking stripe. Now, of course, today these can be printed. These can be printed on wallpaper, etc. But the actual, what is a ticking stripe? An example is what you're looking at the screen. Old pillowcases and mattress covers used to be made of this ticking stripe. So ticking, oh, see, I need just to read my descriptions here. Ticking was traditionally used as mattress or pillow covers, but it has been extended into upholstery for that shabby chic look. So if you like that shabby chic design, maybe, or country design, maybe you want to add a little bit of this ticking stripe. This cotton twill is quite durable. So twill is the type of weave. So if you look at this example, you can see the twill. You can see the weave creating an angle. Ticking is typically made of two different colors, a white or a cream, and then a secondary color. There's typically a broad stripe and a finer stripe. That's what traditionally, if your client is asking for a tick, they're typically asking for a twill weave that has a broader stripe and then a finer stripe on either side of it. So a tick, ticking weaves. Here's just a picture of a balanced twill denim. Do you use denim a lot in interiors? No. I happened to find one picture. Can you use it as a fun novelty, like in this example? Yes. Can you use it in children's rooms, you know, Western themed rooms, ranch houses? Of course. But it's most important just to look at the weave. So that twill weave you're going to use a lot as an interior designer. So if you're ordering a sample for some of your projects, if you've ordered cotton upholstery from some of those sources that I've given you, you might have already gotten an example of like a tan or a beige twill weave. So what happens when we take that twill on one angle, and historically it was then woven in different alternating directions? It creates different effects. Swatch number 59 is a twill weave, but it's a novelty twill weave. So a herringbone pattern. So some of you in my classes, we've been using herringbone patterns in Photoshop, where we bring those nice designs in. And basically this comes from a twill weave that alters direction. So it goes up and then it comes down. It goes up and then it comes down. And then within that, the different colors are staggered. So that's a herringbone pattern. Let's read the definition. Herringbone is a reversing twill that gets its name from the resemblance to bones of a herring fish. Yeah, that makes sense. Down the spine of a fish. This is a strong twill suitable for accessories, pillows, upholstery, and it can be found yarn-dyed, piece-dyed, or even printed. So a great example in your text of a herringbone pattern. Swatch 60 is also a version, an altered version of a twill, and it's called a houndstooth. Houndstooth is this broken checkered pattern. So the twill resembles a slanted four-pointed star. So if you look at that this way, maybe a slanted four-pointed star. The jagged edges are suggested of a hound's tooth. So that's why, like when your little dog's teeth fall out, maybe it looks a little like that jagged edge. But what I want you to know that this is a type of weave, a variation of the twill weave used for upholstery, blankets, etc. Number 61 is a type of plaid. This is a Glen plaid in your book, but you're looking at examples of different types of plaids like tartans. And plaids, you know, are bringing in different colors of yarns to create that plaid effect. But what you're looking at here is definitely, you can see that slanted angle coming through the design, indicating that it is a twill, a right-hand twill meaning that it's moving to the right, from the left corner to the right. Our final look is to look at satin and sateen weaves. And what the chapter in your readings makes very clear is that the term silk and satin are often misused. So if you're taking notes, the term silk and silk satin are different terms. And I put a question on the quiz about that. So remember, silk is a fiber. Satin is a type of weave. And traditionally, satin was woven from silk. And today it can be woven from filament fibers such as polyester. So what is a satin weave? A satin, more warp yarns pass over the fill. So you see we have our weft yarns going up and down here, and then we have these warp yarns, like in this case, are skipping 3 at a time before going under. So they're skipping more, and they create this really lovely, luxurious hand and weave. So a satin, your sample in number 63 is polyester. Your sample in number 64 is polyester. Yes, you were not given a silk sample. But traditionally, satins were made of silk. So the characteristics of satin. Satin is the most lustrous fabric of 3 basic weaves, along with having the best drape, which is why it can be a good choice for draperies. Originally made of silk, satins today are made of polyester, nylon, rayon, or any of those really long filament yarns. So today they're made of those filament yarns or silk. In sample 63, there's a very straightforward satin weave. And in sample 64, you can see that there is a crushed effect put into it, but also it has an iridescent effect. So when you move that sample around, you can see the purplish or pink colors as well as the gold colors. And that's done by having those complementary color yarns in there so that it catches light different ways. Rayon or cotton, I should say rayon or cotton, can also be spun into these different satin or sateen weaves. So you're seeing a spun yarn of rayon, windows, accessories, pillows, and bedding. So rayon's going to have a better hand. It's going to be cooler to the touch. Number 66 is a satin weave, and it could be good for windows, accessories, pillows, where you kind of that shiny, luxurious, excellent sheeting material. Feels really good, especially if there's some cotton added to it. So it seemed like in the 80s, satin sheets were really popular. Mauve satin sheets were really popular. And you actually would just slide right off of them. They were kind of funky. I think I had some in my dorm room. I remember having those. And what you should know is that sateen is the cotton variation of satin. So on the Pottery Barn website, you will see, cotton sateen duvet covers, cotton sateen sheets. So they're very clear in their description, and that's why I had you all really look at those when we were looking at fibers. So that's the end of this lecture.